So everyone, this is Yoel for Hebrew in Israel, from location in Israel, in the Galilee and near Haifa. And this is the sky right now at 6:18, 6:19 in the evening after sunset. I actually went out much earlier. Anyhow, I'm supposed to, for those who don't know, I got really sick. I had COVID and my lungs need exercise, so I went out to do the exercise anyhow. And I went out to see if there's any chance of sighting the moon, and I just got off the phone with someone else who does the sightings, the person who does the Aviv search with me. He went out and did a search with very specific instructions that he and I devised together through years of experience, and we concluded that there is Aviv. I do know that my dear friend Devor Golden has apparently come out with an inconclusive decision, and it's fine. I mean, as I always say, opinions, and it's perfectly fine. We use a method that says with predictions, so we actually, there is enough Aviv, but we also predict that the amounts will grow during this week. We're expecting more heat in those areas, so in the next couple of days it should be, even think about the fact that this search was conducted last week, so we had Friday, we had Shabbat, we have today, we have tomorrow, and even though it's kind of chilly down south, it can be much warmer. But as you can see from the pictures, we can actually find grains. The pictures I posted on Facebook, you can find grains which are in the state of Aviv, and some are even more mature than that. Regarding how you count in statistics, you have to study statistics to actually make decisions. So I don't appreciate when people put out numbers, because these are things you really have to study. I have a friend who has a PhD in this field, and he told me statistics is always very difficult to explain, and really do. So I don't trust the types of statistics that people put out all the time, because it's really, to do a statistic, you have to work in a very specific way and literally destroy a field to really understand how much Aviv there is and so on. So I moved several years ago to the method of prediction, and I think the prediction methodology is quite conclusive, because through years and years of experience, I've been doing this since 2011, so about 10 years now, and learning from people who've been doing it for a very long time, I think that we can predict. And but I actually just got off the phone as well, and I said, how much do you think really was? And he said way more than needed. So it's very different understandings as well. This is somewhat subjective from all of us. We all conclude things subjectively in this case, but we can predict. And anyhow, we have a method of explaining it in a recording that I've done on my website. But now, more to the point, the moon should be setting very soon. And the problem is the sky is covered with clouds. I actually went out way before darkness, and it is very difficult to see anything. You can see a bit of a cloud over there, but that's just another layer. This is high elevation clouds, pretty much covering the majority of the country. There is a possibility that people down south will be able to see something. The moon is only 1.4. Excuse me, I'm working really hard that my voice will be clear, but this is a strain on my lungs. So this is not my regular voice right now, but I'm really pushing it. And maybe there'll be a report from down south. I got a report from near Jerusalem, and I was told the same thing. And in situations like this in the past, for example, I traveled all the way down to Eilat. Quite a few years back, I traveled all the way down to Eilat with my dear friend Nechemia Gordon, and we were able to sight. There was only like 3 or 4 of us that sighted the entire country. But this is the state right now. That building is of no consequence to the discussion of where it should be. Because even if I move a little bit, it's a very interesting thing about the dome of the sky. Even if you move a little bit, suddenly the entire section gets exposed. So, and I also know this area, so I know what to look for. But the moon's only 1.4, which in extremely ideal reality, it should be visible, but I once cited 1.6. I did once a 1.2, and there was a huge argument if I actually saw it or not. I maintain that I did see it. I also got reports from other people that saw the same thing. So I maintain that even 1.2 is visible in very, very ideal conditions. excuse the cough. And so 1.4 should be visible. There is a dilemma. Can you do retroactive? Right now, I have not seen enough evidence to say you can do retroactive, but I did find some evidence from other cultures that they did calendars retroactive, but I can't prove that it was done in the according to the Torah, so I rather not go there. But the moon tomorrow should be about 4%, and as someone quite a few years back pointed out, that can't be a new moon. So, and I understand the argument. So again, when it comes to these types of things, we don't decide. If there was a high priest, then it would be a completely different way of working. I just reported information 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I said, it's up to you. I'm still saying the same thing with the Aviv 2 years ago. There was a whole dilemma as well. And every time there's a dilemma, I can't make the decision. This is really up to greater people to make these types of decisions. And look, some birds flying. I don't know if you can see it. But someone pointed out, I as an individual can't make these types of decisions. True. I don't make these decisions. So again, our common practice is if you see it, it's there. If you don't see it, it's not there. And that's with the moon. But the Aviv, that's agriculture. Agriculture is actually something you can somewhat predict. Even the moon you can calculate, but we've had many times where we calculated, we went out, it wasn't there. It was a 1.6 or 1.7 or 1.8 with excuse me, with a lag time that was like 44 minutes or 42 minutes, which is not enough. We have a 1.4 with an hour. If I didn't have clouds, I am pretty sure that I would be able to see the moon towards the end. But again, that's pure speculation. So as of now, I'm assuming, I'm now in 7 minutes. It's now at 6:20, 6:25. It should be. I can't see anything, and I don't see any point in continuing standing here. Also because I have to watch for my health. But mostly, this is not going to move. But these are high clouds covering the entire country. So this is today is this is the 14th of March, after sunset. In the rabbinic calendar, today was supposed to be Rosh Chodesh. Should have been Aleph today, the first day of the month. The rabbinic calendar, you can actually go listen to my recording, the New Moon Conundrum. The rabbinic calendar today is based on the Rabbi Tokochinsky, who made a very specific type of calculation based on the astronomical viewing of the moon, which is not visible at all. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, but the past year or so it's been visible, but in other years we've had a lot of cases where it was the next day. This year is even more interesting because it will create a 2-day difference between the rabbinic calendar and the sighted moon calendar. But go listen to New Moon Conundrum. You get much better information that I actually gathered on the subject of the rabbinic calendar and what actually happened. But in any case, as of now, I don't see anything. I spoke with someone in Jerusalem area, nothing. But again, there are more people out there. There are loyal people who've been doing this for a very long time, and hopefully maybe they saw. And if there is any information, I'll share it. In any case, thank you for joining me, and I don't know, stay safe and do that which is right in the eyes of the Torah and the eyes of the Lord, and hopefully we'll get a good report. Kol tov.